Hey everybody, Steve Bellman here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to continue our beginning guitar series. And in this series, for the first two videos, we've been focusing on three chords. And those chords are C, G, and G7. And in this third video, what we're going to do is we're going to still focus on those three chords, but we're going to expound on them, or I should say expand them and make them bigger. So we're still going to focus on those three chords, but we're going to learn two different versions, two different ways of playing that same chord using more of the strings and getting a fuller sound. And these are the more common ways that I'm going to give you. These are more common ways of playing these chords. Although the chords we learned in the first video are appropriate as well, and certain times you'll want to use those. Okay? So just as a quick review, we learned the C chord, which again, we only use the first three strings, which are the first string, second string, and third string. The E, the B, and the G. Then we went to the G chord, and then the G7 chord. So those are the three chords that we focused on. So the foundation of those chords we're going to keep. Like I said, we're just going to add notes to make the chords fuller. So each chord is going to have two variations of it. Okay, so with this C chord now, we're still playing those notes, but what we're going to do is we're going to take our second finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Second finger, our middle finger, and on the D string, E, B, G, D, on our D string, the second fret, I'm going to press down. So I'm going to add that note to what I'm already playing, okay? So I'm playing this one, the open, this one, and this one. So again, I'm not taking anything away from what we already learned, I'm just adding. So from the D string down now, you're going to strum. And you can hear that it is a bigger sounding chord. Here's the original. Sounds fine. Here's the new one. You can hear that lower note makes it sound bigger, right? Okay. So that's the second version of the C chord. Now the third version of the C chord, we're going to add one more note and one more finger, one more string. So I'm going to take now my third finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Third finger, I'm going to put it on the third fret of my A string, which is here. Third fret here, I'm going to press down my second finger, which I did before, the open note, C, and then the open note. Now from my A string, I'm going to strum down from the fifth string. Don't hit the sixth string, the open E. You want to leave that one out. Just from the A string down, and it sounds like this. So you can hear it's a much bigger sound. Here's the first sound, here's the second, and here's the third. Okay, now like I said, this C chord is the more common way of playing the open C chord. But all of those chords will be valid for different reasons for different times. Okay, so it's good to know them all. All right, so that's the C chord. Okay, now let's go to the G chord. And with the G chord, I'm going to have you play it two different ways. Two different fingerings, I should say, because depending on what chord you're coming from or going to, you're going to need both of those variations because it'll make it easier to shift. And I'll show you what I mean with that comment in just a second. But let me show you the first way, okay? All right, so there's the open, or the three-string G chord that we learned, okay? Now, to get the second variation, we're going to just play the D string below it, open. So I'm just playing all those notes. It's pretty simple, just adding the open D string, okay? Now to play the big G chord, on this one we're literally going to play all the strings. So every string we're going to strum. I'm going to take my second finger again, put it on the E string, the bottom string, third fret, okay? Second finger, third fret, E string. Then I'm going to take my first finger on the A string, the second fret. That's a B note, okay? So I'm going to play those two notes. I'm going to press down those two notes. And then I'm going to hit the open strings, okay? So it's D string, G string, B string. Those are open, D, G, and B. The tricky part now is I'm going to have to keep my third finger on that third fret of the E, just like I did with this chord. So there's a little bit of a stretch between, you can see between these two fingers. It's going to take a little practice, but you're going to be able to get it. It just might take a little time. Okay, so don't worry, just keep practicing it. You'll eventually get the stretch. So now I'm literally going to play all of my strings. I'm going to strum down. Second finger on the third fret, first finger on the second fret, open strings, and then my third finger on the third fret of the E string. So here we go. Okay, you can hear that's a very big chord. Okay, so here we go back to the first G. The second G is just adding the D string, and then the third version, the full chord, is adding all the strings. Okay, so again, you can hear that it's different sounds, but the same chord. I have 3 different ways of playing that chord. All right. Now, I said there was going to be a different fingering that we were going to do for this big G chord as well. Let me show you that now, and I'll show you why we're going to have these 2 different ways of playing the G chord. So it's going to be the exact same notes. The exact same notes aren't changing. It's going to be a different fingering. So with my third finger instead of my second finger on the third fret, I'm going to press down. And instead of my first finger on the second fret of the A string, I'm going to press down with my second finger. Okay? So again, I'm playing the same notes. The notes haven't changed. Open, open. Then with my fourth finger, I'm going to press down on that third fret of the E string. Okay? Okay, now both of those are G chords. Both of those are proper ways to play the G chord. But again, I'm going to show you why you want to know both of them, because there are certain times when you're going to want to play it this way, and there's certain times you want to play it this way, just because of where you're going with the chords. Okay? All right, so those are the 3 G chords now. Let me give you the last one, the G7, and this is, I'm going to show you why you want to have both ways of playing a G chord. So if we play the G chord this way, the one we just did, 3, 2, open, 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 4, right? That's your G chord. If I just move my fourth finger, if I lift that up and I place my first finger down on the first fret of the E string, that gives you the G7 chord. Okay, so again, here's G chord. Here is the G7 chord. Okay, so I have the third, second finger, open, 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 first finger, and that gives me G7. All right, now if I play the G chord this way, which I can do, then I would have to shift a lot of fingers to go to the G7 chord. If I play the G chord this way, all I'm shifting is that one finger, my fourth finger. I'm lifting up and playing with my first finger. One thing about music is we always want to think about economy of motion. That makes things much smoother, and it makes transitions more seamless. So this is a way to not have to have excess movement. All you're moving is one finger, right? If you play it this way, it's fine. It's not wrong. It's just something to think about. But I want you to learn the G chord both ways, this way and this way, for that exact reasons, okay? All right. So there you go. Those are the bigger C chord, G chord, and G7 chord. This is what I want you to do. There's a couple things I want you to do for homework. The first thing is I just want you to practice playing each of the bigger chords. Now, let me just say this. When you play these chords, I just want you to strum them. Okay? Not in time, don't follow a progression, just strum them and try to get it to sound. Play them individually so that you can make sure that each string or each note is ringing. Okay? Play them as a strum, but also then just pick the notes one at a time. And you can just use down picks on each note. Here's the challenge, you guys. Right? So when you start playing these bigger chords, the challenge is to get all the notes to ring. Because, you know, obviously our fingers and hands aren't strong yet, and that's okay. We're working on it. We have to build strength to be able to press all the notes down. That's the first thing. But the other thing is the tendency is to want to make your fingers more flat. And what that does then, especially for the open strings, it blocks the open string from ringing. Sorry, that's probably a little annoying, but I'm trying to make my point. So what you want to make sure is that your fingers, you have an arch with your fingers when you're pressing down, so that they're straight enough or high enough, I guess, so that they're not blocking the next string. And especially with the open strings, it's really easy to get that muting block thing happening. So that's why I want you to strum each chord, and then I want you to practice playing the single notes so that you can hear if each note is ringing or not. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing is, remember, I think we talked about this in the first video, but make sure where your placement of your finger is correct. So it's not on the fret. So when I say the third finger, third fret, I'm not playing on that fret because you can hear it kind of buzzes. But I'm also not playing behind because then it buzzes out. I'm playing right here, right before the end of this, or right before that third fret, okay? That's where the clear tone is going to come from, and that's with all the strings. So again, because it's a stretch, this will take a little bit of practice and a little bit of time. Don't hurt yourself. If it starts to feel pain or something, stop doing it. But eventually, you're going to be able to do it, and you're going to get a real strong sound and a real strong strum from it, okay? All right, so that's the first thing. Strum all the chords, the G chord, G7 chord, C chord, then play the individual notes, make sure they're ringing. Then what I want you to do is go back to video 2, and I want you to play through those progressions that we've already played, but using the bigger chords, okay? So again, those chords in video 2 are going to use the C chord, the G chord, and the G7 chord. We were playing the smaller chords in those videos, but this time I want you to go back and I want you to use these big chords, all right? Okay, I hope that helped you guys. Thank you guys for checking out my videos. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this. If you need to contact me, please feel free. You can go to my website, stevebillman.com, or mastermusicnow.com, and we can chat. So I hope all's well with you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless you. Take care.